Dude, you see that they're finally going to show off some Dead Space remake tomorrow?
Oh, is that what that was about?
That's what
And I
that's
saw
all
that dude
about.
tagged us, and he was like, "I hope it has VR support." Tag at PSVR Underground at Parole PSVR. Yeah, man.
And
Like
fucking
I,
show off
I
that
will support.
hybridness.
I will support your tweets if you tag me and you're like port begging or VR begging because that's the goal. That's the goal, guys. We
That's the
can
goal.
achieve everything in VR. By the way, Brian, I know you're not feeling your best today, but man, if if this thumbnail is a representation of what's going to happen when you feel sick, you need to feel sick more often, man. I'm not going to lie, because that thumbnail looks awesome.
I thought so. But I mean, that's kind of par for the course, man. I'm pretty amazing. Let's start the show. I forgot how to start this show. This is PSVR Gamescast Live, where we film live every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I can tell just by the feeling of it what day today is. Today is Monday. My name is Brian Paul from this channel right here, PSVR without Parole, and the guys from right, the boys, Dave, not here. I'm kind of getting used to this picture of Dave. He's so energetic and wide-eyed, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, right?
It's a nice picture, man. I know where Dave's come from, man. Dave's been tied up with a bunch of work stuff, and yeah, I've been there. It's not easy having to run a full-time job and then come here and always put on a smile and like and just pretend like you don't have other adulting to do. So I feel you, man. The thing that has helped me in the past is A, quit my job, and B, get a bunch of support from the cats, which have been more supportive than anything.
Yeah, yeah, man. If it wasn't for the cats, I think it'd be really, really difficult to show up all the time and do this.
Yeah,
Like you said,
I wouldn't be able to.
right? Like you said, like I've been having a pretty rough day. I've actually been having a pretty rough month by the feel of it. But the last thing I'd ever want to do is like not show up here and disappoint anybody. Like I fucking love showing up here, and it's all because of you guys out there. And that guy on the right hand side of the screen is AJ from the Underground, PSVR Underground.
What is up, Brian? What is up, Cartoon Dave? What is up, Game Cats? Happy Monday. So good to see you guys. I know Mondays usually suck, but hopefully we can help your Monday suck just a little bit less. XPacerX is in the chat, and he says, not sure what the fuck is going on in that thumbnail. I don't either, XPacer, but it looked cool.
Yeah, man, I just threw together a bunch of shit. I mean, the funny thing is we're probably going to talk about Captain Toonhead for like 32 seconds, and he's like, front and center, like, motherfuckers, here I am! I'm like, okay, but you look cool, so you're getting front and center. It's like, man, all I got to say is if you're making a cool-ass game out there, and you've got some really, really cool art to go along with it, get that art out there, man. Like, let YouTubers use that shit, and like, let us throw it in the thumbnail. We're more likely to put it front and center when it looks fucking cool like that. Anyway, we probably get the show rolling. We do have quite a bit of stuff to talk about. A little bit of housekeeping first and foremost. Dave will be back on the show at some point this week. He'll be able to catch you all caught up on what's going on. So, if you miss him, we do too. Make sure you
Dave.
Make sure you join us over on Discord, though. That's the greatest place to talk to me, AJ, and Dave, and of course all the moderators, everybody who's running that show over there. That link is in the description below. Make sure you come join us, and of course, feel free to join us over on Patreon as well. If you want your name on that ever rotating scroll at the bottom of the screen, patreon.com/withoutparolegames.
GC13 was in the chat. She asked me, AJ, you quit your job? I did. I left a Fortune 500 company and took a shitty maintenance job so that I could, a part-time, so that I could do this more often. And I'll be honest with you, despite used to being rolling in the dough and not anymore, I've never been happier, man. And that's why I said, follow your dreams. And then Hasib Mirza followed that up and said, and follow AJ on Twitter.
And also follow
Yes.
AJ on Twitter.
Yeah. Yes, that's the spirit, Hasib. Let's go.
Yeah, I left an extremely lucrative career waiting tables, selling sangria to drunk businessmen.
I was, yeah, I would have been that businessman drinking that thing.
It wasn't that lucrative, but man, waiting tables was fun. I had a good time. It was only 32 years
The
of my
news,
life.
so Brian, we have worked hard today to bring some good discussions, good topics.
That doesn't
So has
sound
Upload
right.
VR, who has provided a good chunk of this as well. So shout out to them. But yeah, man, we've got a brand new release date for an upcoming game. I don't know what game that could be. Maybe you'll find out. Stick around. Some awesome updates to games, and then we've got an update on Ace Combat. How about that? Any Ace Combat fans out there? Let's see.
3. I counted 3.
I'm a fan. I'm one of them.
4. Fantastic. Nice, man. That's fantastic. Well, we should definitely kick off the show with a little bit of dude, you know what? You know, one of the things that when we first switched over to this 3-day-a-week format, one of the things we wanted to do was incorporate more viewer takeover questions, and we have not been terribly good about that. But for good reason, we haven't been good about that. Is because there's been so much PlayStation VR news that 3 days a week, every single time we do this, it's been packed from beginning to end. We just fucking nonstop PlayStation VR news and like reviews and all this stuff we want to do, and so we haven't had a whole lot of time to get back to viewer takeover questions, but it was really nice to see over on Discord, which you should join. The link's in the description below. We had a couple people in the Viewer Takeover channel asking some good Viewer Takeover questions. And the first one I saw that I wanted to bring up to you, AJ, was from All You Are Is History, which, by the way, is a fucking great username. All You Are Is History. All you are is dust in the wind. All you are is
I heard him.
worm
He
food.
was going. I don't remember his name before because usually when I hear somebody or see somebody, I know them for life. But yeah, he was chilling in my Saturday Night live stream, which was an absolute blast, by the way. Appreciate all you guys coming out there. But yeah, he was seemed like he was having a good time in there. Seemed like a cool person.
Well, he asked over on Discord, #viewer takeover, do you think that once Sony begins encouraging developers to make hybrid games, that we'll still get PS Plus games that are dedicated VR games? Now, it's an interesting question because I thought the question was going to go in a different direction. I thought he was going to ask us, hey, once developers start making more hybrid games, don't you think that we'll start seeing more PS Plus VR games because of that, like just by nature, right? It's like, oh, we'll get like maybe 2 or 3 a month or something like that. But he's saying, do you think we'll still get PS Plus games that are dedicated VR games?
Dedicated VR games. Well, I think you kind of do get 2 birds, 1 stone when you do a hybrid. But I hope to see more dedicated VR games because I think that's also how you get more people to play them and you get more people to check them out. I mean, that's not entirely true because there was like 10 games and that were free recently. And I don't know anybody, like I hardly know, I know a few people that played Paper Beast, but there's people that, you know, they download them, but they still haven't played like Paper Beast and stuff. I was just having that conversation in the Discord. So I like the idea on paper, but I think really what you got to do is you got to have a banger of a game. You know, if Saints and Sinners was a free PS Plus game, then I think a bunch of people would download it and play it. But really, it kind of depends on the game. And as far as this goes, I hope so. I hope so that some dedicated VR games show up for sure.
Yeah, I hope they continue to have, because for a while they had a dedicated PS3, PlayStation Vita section. You know, they wanted to make sure that every single month we got a couple PS3 games, a couple Vita games, make sure you get your PlayStation 4 games, and now you get, and for a little while there, it seemed like we were getting a PSVR game every month. But it would be nice to make sure that it was like, hey, every single month, here's your VR offering, whether it be a hybrid game or whether it be a built from the ground up VR dedicated game. So I don't know what their plan is for that, but I do think they like to diversify that stuff. And the more games, the more free games they get out there for PlayStation Plus members on different platforms or using different peripherals like the PlayStation VR, the more likely those people are to be like, I'm just going to fucking download this. And maybe one day if I happen to pick up a PlayStation VR 2 headset, well, then I have a free game. I already have, a library of games that's being built. So I think it's in Sony's best interest to continue doing exactly that, diversifying the PlayStation Plus collection. I don't know, though. I think the answer to All You Are Is History's question will really lie in. It will really depend on how many of those hybrid games we actually get every month. Like, is it going to be a regular thing, or is it going to be kind of a special occasion thing? Like, every time Sony releases a AAA game, it's also a hybrid game, or will all those third-party developers follow suit? It's right now it's a big question mark. We don't know how many people are actually going to go along for that ride. It sounds great, but we don't know. You know?
Yeah. And what I can tell you is that I've said this before. Normal rules and normal trends and stuff you see in gaming traditionally don't apply to VR. VR is a brand new upcoming medium, and just because something shows up on PS Plus or whatever, just because a game is good doesn't mean it's going to do well. It has to be marketed well. You basically have to do everything right when you're making a VR game, for the most part, or just make it around zombies or, I don't know.
So we're just making a modern military shooter, man. People will buy the
Not
fuck
even
out of
zombies
that.
game. Yeah, modern military shooter. There you go.
Yeah, I mean Warzone. I think Warzone sold. That's how we got Swordsman. What's up, Synth Studio? By the way, in the chat.
Hashtag hire AJ. Let's go.
Hashtag we don't talk about Warzone. I've got a few tips to talk about. The Donatello, the scientist game cat, in the chat. The $5 tip says, Brian, I hope you feel better soon, my friend. Hugs right back to you. Except distance hugs, because whatever I have, you don't want. I promise you that. I just got back from the doctors. Hopefully, I have an update for you soon. We also got the Beerstees Cavern. I'm sorry, the Beerstees Game Cats Cavern. What's up, Hugo? He sends $7 Canadian. Says, hi everyone, I'm back, dude. I hope you're doing well, man. I feel like I haven't heard from you in like a year. It's been a really long time. We also got Nihilist Ryan, the Game Feline, with the $5 tips. Has got Winds and Leaves on sale and have been enjoying it way more than I thought I would. Highly recommend it.
It's a good game, man. It's a good game. It was heartbreaking that it launched with so many issues because it was the most frustrating thing ever. I was considering it for top 25 because I was like, wow, this game innovates. It's creative. It's artistic. It's got, a good message. And I was actually a big fan of it. And then I just had some frustrations at launch that kind of soured me on it. But I actually thought it was a really good game.
I agree. I didn't, and that was a surprise to me. I think getting into that game at first, I was like, what did you do? What kind of game did you make here? This is fucking terrible. Actually, I at a certain point was like, this is fucking terrible. But I don't know if we talked about this. I had some major problems during my first playthrough. That was like a bug that got fixed before launch. That like when I was asking AJ questions, and he was like, what in God's name are you fucking talking about? I was like there were things not popping up on screen like they were supposed to. Like half of the UI just wasn't there, and so things that the game was supposed to be telling me, like tutorial stuff, just wasn't there. And so my first experience with that game was terrible, but not the same, not the same first impressions that most people had. Guys, we also got Hasib Mirza in the chat with $5 tip, who just totally steamrolled our other viewer takeover question because this one is better. He writes, viewer takeover question: what is your single most memorable PSVR memory that will live on with you forever?
Dude, there's a couple, man. There's a couple. Farpoint is one of them. No Man's Sky is another one.
Wait, you just games? You don't have specific memories associated with you?
There's like so many things specifically. I mean, the times where these games made me drop my jaw to the floor. I'll give you like a deep cut kind of one. Going around in the Solus Project. The Solus Project was a game that's unfortunately no longer on the PlayStation Store. There's a lot of like, you're on an alien planet and there's a lot of like tomb raiding kind of stuff, like spelunking, and there's these really eerie caves that you have to go through, and there's these like alien sea urchins that pop up out of nowhere and just basically scare the shit out of me. And that is definitely one of my most memorable. It's not even supposed to be a horror game, but I just love sci-fi and I was so immersed in the world that it was absolutely terrifying.
Dude,
he's yelling at me and says single memory. There you go. Solus Project.
I can't believe that your single memory from the Solus Project wasn't looking out and seeing the Twister out on sea. And then this Twister, like, because we just said
That
this on
didn't
the last
affect you
show.
like everyone else.
We just said this on the last show, or I just said this on the last show. But I saw that and I was like, what a cool visual effect. And I just kind of stared at it for a minute. I was like, it's getting closer. And then, and then I was like, oh my God, it's coming after me. And I literally turned and ran. It was like, how the fuck do I got to get inland as fast as possible? Like that scared the crap out of me. Actually, there was a memory way later in that game that fucking hit me too, but that would be a spoiler. I'm not going to talk about Resident Evil because that's what everyone expects me to say. But you guys already know that story. So one of the stories, one of the memories that's always stuck with me was I remember when Firewall 0 Hour was going to launch and review keys did not go out ahead of time. And we were so close with all of these YouTubers, like Lewis Knight and Seraphim. I mean, it was just like it was JD Max. Like it was just a ton of these cats that we used to hang out with all the time, who were still out there. I just haven't had time to regroup and like hang out with everybody. Just awesome cats. And so we were all just like, yeah, we're just gonna all stream this at midnight. We were all like partying up, and we're so ready to play this game. And I was nervous. I didn't tell anyone this, but I was nervous because this wasn't a style of game I was used to. It was, the whole cooperative / competitive nature of how Firewall plays. Everyone's like, oh, Counter-Strike this and that, whatever. I'm like, those weren't my games. Those weren't the games I played growing up. So I had like I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna fare doing this. And I was nervous as hell. And then when we got in there and everyone was just fucking, we weren't even strategizing. It was just balls to the wall, just run up to people, shooting each other in the face. And I mean, it was one of those turning points where if you weren't a multiplayer VR gamer before Firewall, you were then. And that was a huge turning point for me. Even though Starblood was like really the thing that pulled me out, out of the single player closet. This was the one that made me really, really love it.
I wish I could seriously like put a USB drive in my head and download all my favorite experiences and send them to you and let you feel them and experience them because it would blow your mind. There's more than I could even have time to tell you about. But wow, the list goes on and on and on. And like Steve Ieri says, I'm still getting those experiences day to day.
We also get another tip from the Beerstees Game Cat Cavern. That's just fucking difficult to say, Hugo. Another $7 tip. He says, I'm the VP at the Union. Let's try this again.
I'm the VP at the Union in the hospital. Let's just say I've been busy, but now it's vacation time. Loads of stream. Nice.
Fantastic. Thank you. Yeah. You totally deciphered that one. Good stuff. Thank you again, Hugo. We appreciate you guys. We appreciate all you guys being here. Thank you for hanging out with us. We love you so very much. AJ, I think it's time for some news. What do you got for us?
It is, man. Let's go ahead and just knock this out of the way real quick. There are two important giveaways going on right now. Some challenges. Synth Writers, Kludge Interactive has posted on their website that there is a competition. So I don't know if you noticed or not, or have tried this, but there are daily or weekly, I think actually, weekly challenges that they put up. That's maybe a mode you didn't see pre-launch because it wasn't live. But yeah, there are live challenges that they have that have their own little leaderboard and you can participate in. They are giving away up to $300 if you compete and if you qualify and if you win, of course. There's like first place is like $125, and it goes all the way to fourth place, I think. So I know there's a lot of really great Synth Riders players here, and if you're interested, check that out. Brian, have you had more time to play Synth Riders yet?
No.
I love that game to death. Oh man, I love Synth Riders so much. So. But cool prize thing. I love it when devs do this. Synth Studio does a lot of little prize competitions as well. The other one I want to get out of the way is Virtigo Games is giving away a PSVR headset. On Twitter, you can check them out at Virtigo Games, or you can follow me. I've got it retweeted. Yeah, there's just some stuff you have to do or to enter. It's like through that gleam.io or whatever. And, I know a lot of people have had PSVRs break or, they want to gift one to a friend, something like that. Now you have a chance to get one and a copy of Traffic Jams. But I want that sweet PSVR headset. I want a new one, a backup.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff in that picture that they showed. They're like, "You get this stuff," and I was like, "Ooh, is that a Traffic Jams cake?" I'm just starving, man. Like that cake looked delicious. And then there was like a Virtigo game shirt. It's like I was like, you know what? It's everything. I mean, I've got a headset. I'm like, I want all the other stuff. Actually, but Move controllers are still hard to find and they're still expensive. So I was like, that wouldn't be a bad thing to win either. So yeah, make sure you enter. It makes I think even if you have a PlayStation VR headset, you should still enter, and then find a good home for it. Find a needy game cat who's looking for a headset. But that's good stuff, man. Yeah, unfortunately, going back to Synth Riders, I haven't had a chance to get back to it, unfortunately. But I mean, here's the big question: Are you excited for what Beat Saber's dropping tomorrow?
Yeah, I totally forgot. No, yes,
No.
sort of.
Are you a Skrillex?
Sure.
Are you a Skrillex fan?
Oh, is it gonna be Skrillex?
It seems to be the if majority rules, that seems to be the most popular guess. Yeah.
That is definitely Beat Saber elevating their game a little bit, I will say. And I know that's something that a lot of people have been asking for. And yeah, I am not the biggest fan, but I am definitely a big enough fan to appreciate that, and that would be huge. I don't, I'll have to see it to believe it. I don't believe it. Yeah. I think it's I don't know. I gotta go to my local Walmart or Kroger or something and see what's playing on in the overhead, and I'll tell you what my theories for the next music pack are. I'm so mean. I'm sorry.
That is pretty mean. But I'm actually excited because people whose opinion I trust like Skrillex, but I've never ventured out. I did a little bit of YouTube searching yesterday, and listened to a few tracks, and I'll say happily impressed. Although it was like, if this is what the track back's all about, then I'm down. But I don't know jack shit about Skrillex. So if
yeah, I don't know why I was actually confusing Skrillex with Apex Twin, something like that. Twin Fim. I don't remember what they're called. That was more. That's what I was actually thinking, which would be way cooler. I don't like dubstep either, so I'm not. I know they posted a thing, a lot of wub.
Yeah, there's a lot of wub. Yep. Big time.
Yeah, and I'm not crazy about that. So, long story short, no, I'm not excited, but I always like new stuff. I'm excited to play it. Yeah. I'm not excited for the music. I'm excited for something new.
I'm excited for something new, and I'm also excited because like I didn't like the Interscope mixtape. I was like, I don't like having one song by different bands, and I wasn't a huge fan of most of the bands on that Interscope mixtape anyway. What I'm excited about is saying, hey, here's 10 songs by somebody that I've always been curious about, and then it's like, okay, now I get not only another reason to play Beat Saber, but also maybe I'll be a new fan of Skrillex, and had no idea.
Apex Twin,
Space Denizens.
Thank you, Valramya. And look at everybody getting excited. You see,
yeah,
like people that have good taste in music.
Right. Exactly. Man. Exactly. People have good taste in music. A lot of the cats have great taste in music, and I trust you guys. Yeah. And I'm always in my like little emo grunge, punk rock world where nothing else exists. And so every time I get to venture out of that, I get excited and go, okay, well, here's an excuse to try on a different shirt, something other than the old black tee that I don so frequently. All right, enough Beat Saber talk.
Yes, enough Beat Saber talk indeed, because Rythm of the Universe Ionia got its official trailer on the PlayStation YouTube channel. This was during Gamescom. They were actually attended, and then they posted up a YouTube trailer. I think Hibbsy found it at the time. I don't know if it went up like early by accident, but we got it, and it has a release date. It is coming September 23rd, right around the corner.
Yeah, this is fantastic that we're starting to get September release dates. Not only do we have September 23rd, correct me if I'm wrong, is also the release date for Saints and Sinners Aftershocks, right?
Yes, that's what I was thinking too. So probably.
So suddenly we had no release dates in September, and now we have two on the same day. Get ready, motherfuckers, because it's gonna be August all over again. Because that's exactly what happened, man. It was just fucking game after game after game. It's been an incredible summer so far, and I don't think it's gonna let up in September. Just because we don't have release dates for next month yet doesn't mean I think we're gonna get loaded up. Song in the Smoke, Aftershocks, Ionia, man. Those three alone make for an awesome month, but whew, man, I can't
True.
wait.
Things seem quiet right now, but Sony likes to wait once they've had a big month. They like to wait for that new month to begin, and then all of a sudden it's like huge announcements to start the month. And a lot of those are release dates for stuff coming later in the month. So I expect a lot of stuff to drop. Maybe even by the end of the week, maybe by Thursday, get some announcements for some things.
I'm gonna screw this up big time. Belramio the Game Cat with the €5 says Beat Saber should learn from Rims Racing and release Bloody Beetroots pack. Do you understand what any of that means? Because I don't.
Bloody beetroots.
I don't know what Rims Racing is, and I don't know what Bloody Beetroots is, and I'm not quite sure what a Belramio is. I know who Belramio is, but I'm not sure what a Belramio is. We just say the name as if it could, dude. We could be cursing in another language, and we have no idea. Like, what if
That's true.
What if it's like a racist term or something in Italian? We have just fucking no idea.
He says, I don't want Sepultura. Bloody Beetroots are an Italian electro band, and Rims Racing has only songs from them. I wonder if Bloody Beetroots is a Max Cavalera band. I'm slowly following. No, I don't know. Everyone says Prodigy and Nine Inch Nails. Let's keep it simple.
Nine Inch Nails, I'm down. Prodigy. I know if you're European, you have to like Prodigy. It's like in your DNA or something. But yeah,
It's a no man.
Nine Inch Nails, though. I mean, The Fragile was just was an entire year of my life.
Oh man, great band live.
Wait. Did you make a face when I said The Fragile?
I was just thinking, yeah. I like a lot of Nine Inch Nails albums, so yeah, that's definitely one of my favorites. But I like a lot of them.
Nice. Yeah. No. All the ones I've listened to are good. I'm sure I missed some.
Oh, okay. It's funny because Sergeant Frost says roots, bloody roots. So yeah, I think I know what I'm guessing that's what he means. That sounds like Sepultura, or what Soul Tribe. I can't remember the hell the name. Anyways, how did we talk about that? I thought we were talking about Ionia, another rhythm, a musical based.
Listen, man. Like Belramio knows what's
Soulfly.
up.
Soulfly.
Okay. If you want to derail the conversation, man, like that, you know how to do it. Just send the tip with an interesting conversation starter our way, man. Sorry, sirens on my end, and that's how you can derail this show pretty much every single time, dude. Yeah, but obviously, we could certainly sit here and speculate about all the games that are coming in September, but knowing that Ionia is actually coming is sort of. There's something a little bit magical about this, and I think it's because there was a part of me that was like, these guys are in over their head. This is their first VR game. It's their first real game that Road2 Interactive has made like as a team. It seems like, or at least the first like big cohesive game. And I'm just like, man, you got to wonder like these guys and Wanderer, they just the games seem too big to me to actually meet a release date or meet a release window that they first put out there, especially during COVID times, right? I kept fully expecting this game and Wanderer to get pushed until like 2022 sometime. And so the fact that they're like, oh, next month, we'll see you then. I was like, what? Oh, okay. You guys are just working behind the scenes, making it all happen. They even put a demo out. It was early last month, I think. I was watching, shout out to a Game Cat whose name I haven't seen in a while around here. But who has his own YouTube channel, Paradise Decay. I was watching him play the demo of it, and holy shit, this is like, I mean, just absolutely, it's one of these games that you just put on the headphones and you want to take it all in, because it is, they said over and over that this is like a musical adventure, but man, just, it seems fully orchestrated. It just seems like moving at all times. It just seems like one of those experiences that like would just totally get lost on a flat screen, and when you're in that world, it just looks absolutely stunning. So my question for you, AJ, how good do you think this is going to look on PSVR?
Uh, I have my concerns. Uh, I mean, from they definitely have seemed like they've tried to back up what they're showing and saying it's going to look really good. So I'd like to have like the utmost highest confidence. But it looks too good. Like it looks better than some of the AAA games we get. And the trailer they showed says PCVR footage.
Hmm.
So I don't know. Like I don't know what it's going to look like. I hope it doesn't have to look perfect, but you know, I certainly hope it's not like a Quest port or something. Um, but I've been excited about this game since early last year, when we covered the Kickstarter and first heard about it, and you know, we were like, man, this looks really good, but the limitations of the gameplay, you know, Wanderer has the same thing, is that it looks so good. It's like, how good is this actually going to be? So in the back of my head, I'm thinking there could be a catch here. What's the catch? Is something with the gameplay, something with the graphics? Because a lot of these games that came out over the summer have been great, but a lot of them have had a catch. And that's why I love Saints and Sinners, because there was no catch with it. But yeah,
Yeah.
man,
Brax,
I am hoping for the best.
Braxbro in the chat is basically saying exactly what I'm thinking. He says, I'm not a graphics snob, but the visuals look like they're important to the game. And I agree. I think that this game will suffer greatly if we turn it on and it's just it's a big, blurry, beautiful mess. Right? I just don't think that that's gonna really get the feeling that they're trying to invoke across. Slyward 251, the basement switching flipping game cat. I can't even say your name properly. Sorry, Slyward. He says Ionia might look like Zing, which, in all fairness, Zing looked fucking beautiful, especially on the Pro. The what I'm concerned about is that Sony really hasn't unleashed the full power of the PlayStation 5 for PSVR games, right? It's really like this in backwards compatibility mode. It's dynamic resolution. It's unlocked frame rates. It's unlocked this. It's unlocked that. But no, like, oh hey, here's your PlayStation 5 version for PSVR games. That's not really a thing. I mean, although I guess No Man's Sky is the only one to break that mold so far, right? Can you think of any other ones other than No Man's Sky?
Man,
Hitman has a PlayStation 5 mode. I thought PS5 and
oh,
PS4 Pro.
PlayStation 5. Yeah, actually don't know because I don't have the thing. Well, I mean, like Fract or
But again, those are all unlocked resolutions. Like that's all taking advantage of. But there's not a specific PlayStation 5 mode, like or PlayStation 5 version of these things. And again, I really do think that's because they want the shift to PlayStation VR 2 to be so dramatic. But this is one of those games
I
that
think
looks like.
that's. I would think that that's what the. I mean, that's what No Man's Sky is. Is probably just uncapped or yeah, like uncapped resolution or something like that. Because yeah, they may not say that, but that's probably what it is.
And I think this is. I mean, who knows? Who knows, man? But
It's the
like,
PS4 version of No Man's Sky. It's not a PS5 version.
so right, yeah, absolutely, right. Because I don't have the PlayStation 5 version of No Man's Sky installed. So yeah, so it's going to be doing something similar to that, but um, but this is just, I don't know. There just seems like there's a lot going on here, and I this is gonna be one. Usually, I don't care about seeing like the graphics comparisons between the OG and the Pro and the PlayStation 5. Usually that's just a little bit too much going on there. But this is one of those games that I really, really want to see if they've managed to take advantage of each of those different consoles, because this is. I think it's going to be important, and it would be a real, real shame if like the OG just got screwed altogether. Um, on the PC, if you bring up the options menu in the Ionia demo, you can set the draw distance, you can set a bunch of different graphical settings. There's sliders like there are in tons of games, and
Yeah.
that generally isn't something that you see on console. They just like try to optimize it for the specific console. But it would be nice if instead of just blurring out the entire game and dropping the resolution big time, they were like, oh, we'll just cut the draw distance back and it's hidden by fog or something. N64 the crap out of it. Like there's got to be
Yeah.
workarounds to keep this thing looking good. I really hope there is.
Yeah. Goat Trunk 25 says, "Didn't Blood and Truth have a PS5 mode?" Yes. It's not necessarily a PS5 mode. It's I mean it is a PS5 patch, but anything that is a PS5 game is gonna have to be a PSVR 2 title. There's no every single PSVR title at this time is a PS4 game technically.
Right. Still running in backward compatibility mode.
Right. And it has boosts that it can take advantage of on the PS5.
Right.
It can use some of the CPU GPU power, but even that is limited. That's not a fully unlocked access to the full hardware capabilities of the PS5. It would have to have a PS5 SKU for that to happen.
Right. So it would be really nice to see if this is something, if they manage to develop this with, dynamic resolution and unlocked frame rates, all of that, to take advantage of each console. And because, how much would it suck to be playing this on PlayStation 5 and realize, yeah, we are playing the Quest version, like the Quest one, like, God damn it. Although, I did see in the trailer, though, this is the second game to my knowledge that doesn't support the Quest 1. It only said Quest 2. So even they're aware that like there's limitations. So at the very least, we'll be getting the Quest 2 version, right? Which isn't
Quest
bad.
Can look pretty nice.
Quest 2 can look pretty damn nice.
It can, but it doesn't have anything on the contrast or the lighting or anything like that. It looks more like Tarzan, kind of. All right, man. Well. So, hype meter, without parole hype meter for Rythm of the Universe Ionia Part 1.
Yeah, I think we usually say 1 to 5, right? To keep things simple, 1 being the lowest, 5 being the highest. And as far as the without parole hype meter, like I'm honestly, I'm at a 4, mostly because this isn't something we talked about, or maybe we did before but haven't recently. I'm a little nervous they're going to get preachy. Like as soon as you get preachy in a game about nature and conservation and saving the earth and saving which is what this is all about. This is it's tied into fundraisers.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like funded by wildlife stuff. I'm EPA certified. I care about the environment. I recycle. Yeah. Shit's important to me. I understand what you mean. How if you focus on that over making a good game, then like it's just I don't know, man. It's like there's sometimes the message overpowers the story in the game. Sometimes the message overpowers what you're doing. And you feel like you're playing like an edutainment title or something. Like it's like am I being taught something right now, or am I enjoying something right now? And sometimes those two things don't mesh very well together. I don't like education titles. Like I didn't even like them when. Remember when you were a kid and you're like, oh, I get to play video games in school because it was an education title, fucking Oregon Trail and nonsense like that. It's like don't fucking hit me over the head with this shit. When I play a video game, I want to play a video game. I don't want to learn something. Like the Adventures of Treasure Mountain was the shit.
I do remember that. I'd have to look it up though. God. I can't remember.
There was a couple standouts that were amazing.
Yeah,
but in general, good ones, yeah. In general, educational. But we've had people preview this on PC and stuff and say that it's actually pretty good. So that makes me hopeful.
I'm at a 4. Yeah. Where are you at?
I'm gonna say like 3.
Okay.
Like a really solid 3 because I want to have my expectations in check. A lot can go wrong here, but it could also end up being everything I wanted and was hoping for. So. I've been really excited about this game, but yeah, I just want to have my expectations in check.
Nice. Now let's run the game feline with the $5 tip. Says since a lot of PSVR cats went straight from PS5 from OG PS4, so they went from OG to PS5. Maybe a great video idea would be every PSVR title with either a Pro or PS5 patch. So many games. That would be the biggest video I've ever made in my life. Also, by the way, this sale video, like, it might kill me. There's over 200 games on sale. I figured out it's going to take 40 hours to make the sale video. Like, it might not get out in time for the sale. Like, the sale might be over by the time I finish it. So apologies, guys. I'm working my ass off, and hopefully I can get that sale video out. Thanks for the suggestion, Natalis Ryan. We love you. Hey man, did you see that interview that Upload VR did with Mr. Jesse Schell from Schell Games?
I most certainly did.
And say something about it, so I can bring up a different trailer. Say something.
They did do an interview with Jesse Schell, who I believe is the founder of Schell Games. Until You Fall, I Expect You to Die 1 and 2. Am I missing something?
I mean, they did some like mobile games and stuff, but
Okay.
as far as
those are the big ones we know about, and they are pretty awesome. And yeah, they had a little bit to share about their next project, and they kind of good old Jamie over there at Upload got a little bit of a scoop, got him to say just a little bit. But I thought it brought up an interesting point, and wanted to have a quick discussion on it. Just get your thoughts, get the cat's thoughts as well. But he says basically, I Expect You to Die and Until You Fall, developer Schell Games, next VR title will try to find a balance between physics-based gameplay and hyper reality. Now, I might have to look up what hyper reality is. I'm guessing it means what it sounds like, but well, he says, when they were talking to him, he says, quote, "You've got to make things hyper real. Reality isn't your goal. You're trying to create a certain experience for the player. And there's some elements of physics-based play that can do some of that, but it's only a part of it. So you have to strike that balance. We're doing some work on it now. I'm trying to think if I could talk about it. I'm not sure I'm supposed to talk about it. I'm probably not supposed to talk about that. But yeah, he basically said, we're working on a game that involves a balance between physics and reality and figuring out when to use the physics in order to enhance the experience and when to say, okay, that's enough." Sounds like another kind of combat game. When it comes to Until You Fall, I definitely feel like that's not a game that is very physics driven, more arcade.
Yeah, they don't. It's certainly. I mean, the combat specifically is not physics based at all. Like you're definitely, blocking at the right time. It's very almost rhythm based, or at least quick time event feeling. I mean, fantastic. It always sounds so negative when you phrase it like that. But man, it's such a fantastic game. But not a physics based game for sure. And even and even the physics that were involved in I Expect You to Die were. I'll say I was really, really happy when there'd be like a clipboard or something I'd pick up in I Expect You to Die 2, and there were things on top of it, and I'd pick up the clipboard and the things would come with me, and and all the physics worked properly. Like they've really got a decent physics engine there for at least item interaction and collision detection, and opening the drawers, and things sort of slide a little bit when you open it, but they don't like totally fall through, or everything reacts the way that it's supposed to, which is the mark of a good physics engine. But so far they haven't made like a physics-based game. Right. So my question, and I guess you're going to ask me the same thing, is what kind of game do we think they're making?
Well, that's definitely not the same question, so I'll answer yours first. Okay. To me, it sounds like something with combat. I mean, it sounds like it could be another melee combat game.
Okay.
Maybe it's Until You Fall 2.
That would be interesting. I see. The reason I don't think it's a combat game is simple. It's only because I don't think they're done with Until You Fall. I think that we're going to see DLC. We're going to see a new campaign for Until You Fall. I don't think they're done with it. And so to have a game come out that rivals their own game or kind of shows up their own game in some way, when they're still trying to promote the original one, seems like it would be counterintuitive. But I don't know. I can't. Schell Games is a hard developer to pinpoint or to nail down because they just kind of do whatever, man. They're
a big company. They're not a small. They're a huge company. I wouldn't say maybe not huge, but they're a big company with a lot of different sectors that work on a lot of different VR stuff. It's all, as far as I know, it's mostly just VR, but they do all sorts of places, stuff from, I think they even delve into some medicine and stuff like that. VR isn't always just applied to games. That's just what's going to make it popular, in my opinion. But Yeah, they go all over the place. You like Until You Fall and I Expect You to Die couldn't be more opposite.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I Expect You to Die, it's literally made to play kind of casually, sitting there, just like kind of move controllers. You can play it sitting down. Not very few things put a time limit on you. Like sometimes you'll have to do things quickly so you don't die, but it's certainly not sword fighting, especially not the kind of sword fighting that's in Until You Fall. So, I go ahead.
I was going to ask you about what do you think about his comments saying that, you know, about his feelings toward of physics and physics driven games. And by the way, I love that he mentioned Kurt Vonnegut Jr.
Right.
I'm a huge fan of Sirens of Titan. I've read that
So
book.
random. Yeah.
Breakfast of Champions. There's a couple others that were just awesome books. It's like usually goofy sci-fi, really out there stuff. Huge fan of Kurt Vonnegut Jr. But anyways, what do you think about his comments about saying like you don't want to go full physics driven? Because to me, like I get what he's saying. You want to have balance. You want it to be physics based, but you also want it to be fun and gamey, and gamified. And so I think that's the proper outlook. But when it comes to some of these games, like I feel like Until You Fall, could have used a little bit more physics. Like instead of having this arcade like kind of guide you rhythm game kind of layout, I feel like, if you put swordsman's combat into Until You Fall, like it would have been huge for the game.
Okay, two things.
Yeah.
One, I totally disagree with that statement because I love what Until You Fall does with its combat. I love that they weren't trying to make a realistic sword fighting game. They weren't trying to make a physics based game. They were doing something that made you move and have fun and react quickly to on screen commands. And I actually absolutely loved it. When people try to compare Swordsman to Until You Fall, I was like, the only thing that's similar is that you have a sword in your hand. And that's it. Like even swinging that sword doesn't feel the same. Connecting with your enemy with that sword doesn't feel the same. Sword fighting does not feel the same. And so I think these two games have almost nothing in common, despite the fact that they're both sword fighting games. And I absolutely love the arcade style that they went for in this. It was perfect for the visual style and the audio style they were going for, like just that kind of like driving synthwave music the whole time. It felt like you were inside of arcade machine from the 90s, and it felt good to do that. And I think if they did physics based stuff, it would have maybe not landed quite the way they wanted. The other thing is, I can't believe you skipped over the whole Kurt Vonnegut thing, and it's like, don't you think that was sort of maybe like a little wink and a nod, being like our next game is going to be a sci-fi game?
Could be a crazy over the top sci-fi game. Maybe a little bit of comedy in there.
Possibly, but like
Definitely.
yeah, I mean, like I can only imagine the amount of things that now that they're getting more and more comfortable with VR, the number of places they could take their next game. Could it be a space exploration game? Could it be some kind of narrative driven adventure game? I don't know, man. There's so many different ways they could go with that, but I just didn't want to let that pass. You brought it up and immediately it sparked in my brain. I was like, wait a minute, that makes perfect sense. Why would he brought Kurt Vonnegut up? But
I think physics are super important for games, though. That's why we hate games that we say have waggle for the combat, because
right.
It's not just the gameplay. It's not necessarily about the gameplay. It's about the way it feels. To me, the physics are all about, like, I always felt like games with better physics feel more immersive because it actually feels like you're doing these actions in VR. There's a lot of games that simulate weight and things like that, and I think that's huge. I think that's why I love Saints and Sinners so much, is because you feel like, you sit there, you don't just poke and your arm clips through the enemies and stuff, or the weapon, and they just fall down. It's like, no, you sit there and you stab them in the head with a screwdriver, it gets stuck, and then you got to go, and then it goes all the way in, or you slice, and like depending on the perfect angle you slice, their head goes flying off. And to me, those have been some of my best experiences. That's why I'm such a big fan of Swordsman as well. That's why Gran Turismo is like one of my favorite racing games, because it has that realism to it, but it's not necessarily about being realistic. It's about the way it feels to play it. Stuff like Detached. Detached has some amazing physics, and you're not like interacting with a whole lot. You're just floating around in space.
Yeah. It is a delicate balance. I think there's too many people out there that are so concerned that VR games have to be as realistic as possible. They say, oh, well, you're in virtual reality. It has to be fucking balls to the wall realistic. And I couldn't disagree with that more, right? I don't always think that manual reloading is the best thing, especially like, oh, I'm going to put every single bullet in the goddamn fucking, okay. I was like, I'm sorry, I'm doing other shit over here, okay? I'm running away. I got fucking zombies on my tail. Leave me alone. So, but sometimes it is good. It all depends on the game. It all depends on the situation. It all depends on what feels right. And so sometimes realism adds to the excitement of the game, and sometimes it detracts from the fun of the game. And so I think that's why developers like, Schell Games, I think that's why he brought it up, because they are absolutely a team that understands that they're making games. And that not everything has to be crazy realistic. That if you add some realism to it, you can add to the enjoyment. But you could totally fuck up your game by making it too realistic. And that's just going to be...
People will sit there and experiment. There's a lot of gamers out there that love to, when you add physics to the thing, of course it's like way more work, way more intensive on the GPU or the CPU. But it also opens up your game to be able to sit there and mess around with it because of how it feels. And I saw Anikaze said, he says, no physics interactions for physics' sake. Boneworks went full physics driven to its detriment. And that's actually something I've heard a couple times, because I hear Boneworks is all about the physics. But then I also hear that, it's to the detriment of being a fun game or something like that. So I don't know what that means, because I haven't played it. I've been trying to hold out for a PSVR 2 version. But yeah, man, I think I typically love physics in games. It's how you get rid of waggle. I think it improves the way the game feels, and I like how games feel, no matter what it looks like. Like, if it could be anything, but if it feels right, it feels right.
Yeah. It just all depends on the game. All depends, it'll be interesting to see how important it is moving forward in VR, as to see if it's something that's more important in VR, because there's certainly something to say, if you're running around on a flat screen in a third-person game, and you run up to somebody and you push the square button, and it does this canned animation of you swinging a sword, and then the character reacts to that. It's way different than being in VR and running up to somebody and taking your hand and swinging a sword and watching what happens when your blade that you just swung hits that person. What happens? So it's got to be more important in VR moving forward. But taking it too far, I think, is definitely going to be a concern. We don't want every game to be hyper realistic. And it's just good to hear somebody like Jesse Schell talk about this somewhat openly and say that there's a balance here, and I think they found that balance in Until You Fall. Oh yeah, no, it is your turn.
Cover for me.
I'll cover for you, but I do think it's time to move on to the next news story while I cover for you, and that is
Ninja. Arashi.
I was like, do you want? I didn't know how far you were going to go with that.
I was giving you a hint. Guys, Arashi, Castles of Sin, which just recently came out. I was a big fan of it. not a physics-based game.
No, this is the game
game.
I kept thinking about while we were having this conversation, being like, man, this
Right.
definitely would have improved Arashi big time.
For sure, especially because they were going for this like realistic thing, but the gameplay, despite the combat itself needing some fine tuning, or could have benefited from some physics. It's all about sneaking around and being stealth. You don't need physics to do that necessarily. Good physics in the game, you can still have a lot of fun. It's like Tenchu,
Yeah. Yeah. Arashi is a
So
game.
what about it, Brian?
Arashi is a game that we definitely enjoy quite a bit, and the more we play it, the more we like it. That's something that is abundantly obvious. The more you play it, you just played it on Saturday Night Live streams.
I love it, man. It seriously is better every time I play it. Yes.
I need to get through it. I need to finish my second playthrough so that I can because my first playthrough I lost my save file due to unforeseen circumstances, and then so to open the level select screen I have to finish my second playthrough, and so that I can go back and get all the collectibles. And I think I'm gonna wait. I think I'm gonna wait on that second to finish off my second playthrough because Endeavor One, the developers of Arashi, Castles of Sin, just said that the next patch that they drop for this game will include the Pro patch, the long-awaited, the much-anticipated, the highly requested patch for the PlayStation 4 Pro, and one of the developers at least has said that it looks significantly better in the HMD, which is really nice to hear. How excited are you for this?
I'm super excited because aside from a few parts of the game, I thought it was a pretty gorgeous game already. And to know that it didn't have pro enhancements, I was like, wow. Like, I thought it actually would have. But I am super, super excited because I already thought it looked great. And with even more enhancements, this could be a gorgeous, absolutely stunning game, I think.
Yeah. No, it's it's good to hear. Good to hear that they're already kind of saying publicly that this is coming, and to say it's in our next patch gives me the impression that the next patch is coming soon, because it'd be kind of a weird thing to say if it was like 3 months out or something. But man, I definitely think we're going to be. I think Arashi is going to be one of those games that I said on the top 25 list. I think I mentioned it about Alvo and this game, but both of these games I feel like are gonna. This one did make it on our top 25 list this time around. It snuck in there with your ride or die.
Yeah, no, it didn't sneak in there. I did my ride or die, and I was super proud of it.
It snuck in there with your ride or die, just like Until You Fall snuck in there with my ride or die. And what was Chris's? Was it Electronauts?
Electronauts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Did you did you roll your eyes when you said that?
I did.
No.
I mean, it could have been worse, but
man, that list, man. I'm never gonna get over that list that he brought to the table.
that was difficult to deal with, man.
Right.
I'm not gonna lie. I love Chris. I love his opinions, but trying to mesh that with our thoughts of what the best games are, like, it fucking made everything super difficult.
Someone should have vetted him. No one vetted him. No, we're just like, oh, we'll see you then. It'll be fine. Everything's great. He shows up, and I'm like, what the fuck just happened?
That was a learning experience, to say the least. Shout out to Shughead Games.
Big time. But yeah, so I do think that Arashi is going to be climbing our next top 25 list. I think it landed, very close to the bottom, but I think it will climb over time. The more they can add to this game, the more they can make it look good. Just add to the immersion. And I think the same is going to go for Alvo. Didn't make our list, but I think it will. Like next time, 3 to 5 months, whenever the hell the next list is. It's very exciting to see. Like the evolution of games. These games don't exist in a vacuum anymore. It used to be games came out on a cartridge or PlayStation 1 disc, and just you put that game in, and if it fucking was broken, that was the end of it. It was like it's just not gonna be fixed. And now games get tons of DLC and patches and all sorts of things that address. We didn't talk about. We'll talk about D-Magnet on an upcoming episode, but I played some D-Magnet today. And those developers went in and they added full locomotion, they added smooth turning, and just totally overhauled the entire feel of the game. It feels way more immersive now to run around that world. So it's really really good that this is a thing that exists now. I know I feel like I sound like an old man being like, back in my day the cartridges weren't up to date or well, whatever. But this is great. This is great. Games generally only get better over time. Belrami the Game Cat with the €20. Thank you so much. Says, sorry, got to call it a night. We'll watch watch this tomorrow. I think that's what he said. See you on Discord, everyone. Yeah, click the link. Join us on Discord.
Nice. Thank you, Bell. Have a great night. Do not buy a Lunar Stone, Bell. Do not buy.
He wasn't thinking about
I'm
buying
trying
Lunar
to stop.
Stone, was he?
Oh man, I had to stop him from buying Lunar Stone earlier.
Didn't he watch my review?
Man. Probably not. I think that's maybe what made him want to buy it, but
what?
No. I told him, dude, no. There's some games that are good, bad. This is bad. Don't do it.
Yeah, there's something appealing about it that like just totally lost all appeal 5 minutes in. Don't buy a Lunar Stone. Buy Immortal Legacy, dude. Jay Meow fucking played Immortal Legacy for the first time and was like, he's part of the cult now. He's part of the cult. He knows Immortal Legacy is a fucking fantastic game. Go out, buy Immortal Legacy, man. $10. You'll thank me later.
He said you told him to play it on easy.
Yeah, actually, I did. Because I told him he's going to want to play it more than once, and so you might as well just blast through it and have a good time the first time, and then he had a challenge the second time. I actually would say that for anybody who plays Immortal Legacy. Also, anyone who's actually taking my advice right now and is going out and buying Immortal Legacy tonight and getting it on sale for part of the PlayStation VR sale, it's only $10. It'll take about 4 hours to get through your first time minimum, and then and definitely worth playing through multiple times. Make sure that once you're in the game, you push the start button on I think it's your left move controller to get the full list of options. The full list of options isn't even in the main menu. This is like a weird thing. When they patched in extra control schemes and options and movement speeds, it's only in the in-game menu, not on the title screen. So just keep that in mind. Otherwise, you'll hate me. I don't want you to hate me because I love you so much.
All right, man.
Yes.
Because of time constraints, let's go ahead and get our last news article out of the way before we do 20 questions.
Wait, that wasn't the last. Oh, I thought that was the last news. That's why I was wasting so much time. Okay.
No. Well, I also told people that I had some stuff to share about Ace Combat, and they were pretty excited. So I don't want to leave them hanging. No. But yeah, man, this old article is actually kind of old. It comes from thegamer.com, which I've never heard of. But I was just actually I was doing other things, other activities, and stumbled across this article, and I said, "Oh, this is interesting." And it is from it's from January of this year. So it's not from 2019, which I thought for a second. But the game Ace Combat 7 launched in January of 2019. It was a big thing. It was a big deal for us. I know we were a little bit disappointed that it was only 3 missions, but I absolutely loved it. Here's the good news. The good news is that the game, at least according to back in January of this year, sold, it exceeded 2.5 million copies worldwide and released on PS4 and Xbox One. And it says several missions developed for the PSVR headset. But come on, there wasn't several. There was 3. There was like a free flight mode and a other mode for it as well. Lots of difficulties, I would say. Lots of difficulties to choose from, and then lots of unlocks, which made it cool. But the game did really well, and they mentioned something about having the next game in development, which I thought was pretty cool. By the way, Ace Combat 7, best-selling Ace Combat game of all time.
Which is insane. 2.5 million does not seem like a lot of copies for it to be the best-selling Ace Combat game of all time. This series has been around since PlayStation 1. The first one was called, Air Combat, right? They had like some copyright issue right over from the arcade. It's like, yeah, it's insane. There's been there were multiple iterations of this on the PlayStation 2 when it seemed like everything was just selling like fucking hotcakes. What?
Quick correction. It's not actually the highest selling, but it's basically neck and neck with Ace Combat 4 Shattered Skies, which was actually pretty dope if you played it.
Yes, that is the one that I always confused with Electrosphere, because it was 1, 2, and 3 on PlayStation 1, and 3 was Electrosphere, and then 4 was Shattered Skies. It's probably the one I played the most of, because that was on the PlayStation 2, and I was like, I need everything for PlayStation 2. Yeah, that's probably the one I played the most of. So that's cool. It's good to hear. I always get concerned when I hear sales figures and stuff, but there's always developers or publishers that are super concerned about sales figures. Like, whenever something like Silent Hill comes up, Silent Hill is one of those games that the fans love, but it actually doesn't sell very well. And so whenever something like Silent Hill comes up, and the rumors of Sony buying the IP or something along those lines, people always say, "Oh, well, it's not worth Sony buying the IP because it just doesn't sell that much." So it's always interesting to see like how many copies these games actually sell. Games that we think of big blockbusters, but 2.5 million isn't actually that much these days for a game that is super high budget.
Triple
like
A
this.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is the weird thing, we're not going to dive too deep into this because this game, majority of it is a flat screen game. It's not a VR game.
Right.
We just, for me personally, the VR missions were some of the best experiences I've ever had in VR, period. And I played it recently too. I think I played it last Saturday, or the Saturday before last. And I was just, man, I was having so much fun, and I just fell in love with it all over again. And it actually made me want to revisit I was Googling to find the old ones on PS1 so I could buy them and play them again, because I have a PS1 again. Thank you, Nick. But yeah, so they did give us a little bit of info on back in June 2019, actually. Producers Kazutoki Kono and Manobu Shimamoto revealed that Ace Combat 8 would launch sometime between 2021 and 2025. But that's not it. That's not all. The other info is that the game is going to be linked directly with Ace Combat 3 Electrosphere, and feature an unmanned fighters and manned fighters as well.
Did they really give a 4-year window for the next game?
They did, but this was directly after the game came out this was the summer after the game came out in that January of 2019. So the game has been in production most likely for some time now. They've also been adding more content to the new game. But that's just another, of all things, I've always said before, like if Ace Combat, the VR mode, was a full game, it could possibly be my number one PSVR game. Like it was that good. And just the gameplay and the experience of it, flying a fighter jet. And, we were talking about realism. That realism really went a long way with how like authentic a lot of the game was trying to be. And that's one thing I've always loved about Ace Combat. But wow, just what a game, what an experience. And I can't help but think, if this is another one of those that we just got to cross our fingers and say once PSVR 2 is announced, maybe we'll get the VR version complete.
Yeah, no, I absolutely think that Ace Combat 7 is one of the last examples of VR modes in big budget flat screen games that we're gonna see. I really do think that Ace Combat 8 will be a shining example of the hybrid games that we've been talking about. I really think there's no question about it. The whole game, you can play it in VR, out of VR, no problem. Here you go, have fun. And we're finally going to get the game that we're asking for. The next Gran Turismo game, yeah, 100%. I think Namco's going to kill it, and I really do think that pizza bet right now, Ace Combat 8 will be the highest selling game in the series, and 20% minimum of those people, the people that play it, will be playing it on PSVR 2.
It's so many numbers,
right? I'm throwing a lot of numbers out there. I'm hoping that all of that is accurate. All right, dude. I think it's time. We got to move on to the final segment of the show, which of course is PSVR 20 questions.
That's right.
I'm gonna put a 6-minute timer up on the clock here, and oops, sorry, started, but that's not how I wanted it to go. Here, let's watch the Sharknado trailer instead. No. Okay, so you picked a game.
I did pick
right.
a game.
Listen, I'm gonna really need help with everybody in the chat here. Is Zach Lightning like 10 minutes behind the rest of us? He'll get caught up eventually. We love you, bud. I'm going to need your help, guys. My brain is totally fried today. I'm going to need everybody's help. So if you don't know how this is played, AJ is thinking of a PlayStation VR game, and we, the chat and me, have 20 yes or no questions to figure out what game that is. If the time runs out beforehand, well, then I lose. Then we all lose. We're all losers. But I love you guys. Let's do this. All right. Does it have aim support?
No.
No aim support.
Hold on. Oh my god, I almost forgot. Okay, I remember it again. That's 1.
Does it have move support?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Are there vehicles in this game? Are you in a vehicle in this game at any point?
There are lots of vehicles in this game, and you are in a vehicle in this game.
Lots of vehicles. Okay. Are you racing vehicles?
You are not racing vehicles.
Not racing. Okay. Let's think here, guys. Big fat frog. Is it multiplayer?
It is not multiplayer.
Not multiplayer. Oh man. Okay.
That is 5.
I think Jason
Ewing's is
pretty
hate machine.
I think Jason Ewing's like 40 minutes behind the rest of us, but that's okay, man. I love the 9 Inch Nails love. 40 minutes after the fact. That's great. Are you out in space in this game?
You are not out in space in this game.
Oh man, this is removing lots and lots of titles very quickly. It's not Borderlands, Ben Dawson, because there's no aim support. Is this game... Do you have full locomotion in this game? Freedom to go where you want. Let's put it that way.
You do not have full locomotion in this game, or freedom to go where you want.
Okay. So... Are you in a mech?
You are in a mech in this game.
Okay, we got some good stuff going on in the chat here. It seems like we are definitely going down the Archangel path. Let's find out. Has this developer made more than one PlayStation VR game?
Yes, they have made another PSVR game.
And is there other PSVR game full of zombies and moments where you stare at a radio while someone talks to you on the other end of it?
No. Yes. This other game does have zombies in it. No to the other thing.
Wait a minute. Now I got to make sure. Was this made by Skydance?
This was made by Skydance.
Is it Archangel?
Wait a minute. Hold on. Before you ask, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's 11. This is your 12th question you have. Are you sure you want to ask that question?
You said yes to Skydance, so yes.
Are you sure, Brian? Are you sure? It is Archangel.
Oh yeah, it is.
Which is on sale for $7.99, I think. $8.99. Go try it. It's really good for $9.
It is. It is one of the only thing I don't like about Archangel.
It hasn't been on sale in 2 years.
It's a good game. It's a rail shooter. Deceptively a rail shooter. The only thing I don't like about it, shockingly, is that there's no new game plus mode. You don't actually get to max out all your weapons by the end of the game, and so you're like, oh, I can't wait to like take the weapons I have and start the game over and do this all over and then max everything out and have fun on my second run. It's one of those games that, like, a lot of games don't need a new game plus mode. I wish all games had one, but this one just seemed like a glaring omission that it didn't include one. It seemed like a perfect game for it. That's the only thing I really didn't like about this, other than the fact that it launched at like $40, and then they quickly learned their lesson and they dropped it down to 30 like a month or two later, and it was still a little on the expensive side. But I mean, it is so. If you play this game, it just reeks of high production values from the moment you start the game. The beginning cutscenes, the storytelling, the voiceovers, everything. It's just like, wow, this is fucking insane.
Multivitamin Orange said the first PSVR game I played. Very nice.
It's
good, man.
It's
good.
Great way to start. Great way to start. All right, man. All right, let's get the show on the road. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us, and thanks for being here, guys. This was definitely it's been a long day over here, and I can't wait to get some shut eye. You guys are awesome. We can all snuggle up if you want. I'm not doing anything now. Come over. I'll leave the door unlocked. But thank you to everybody out there. Thank you to everybody who helps make who keeps this ship afloat. Thank you, AJ, for being here, and thank you, Dave, wherever you are. Also, shout out to all the moderators who make my life like way easier, keeping this chat civil, but also all the cats in the chat keeping it civil too. Thank you to Miles Dyer, who runs our Instagram account. Thank you to Jay Meow, who's helping me get the website up and running and make sure that this show is on Spotify. Shout out to Gabriel 004, the licensed to Meow Game Cat, with a $5 tip. Thank you very much for just shoving it in there at the end. For just shove it in, man. And of course, Sci-Fi Game Cat Henry, who adds timestamps to this after the show is over. Guys, thank you to everybody who hung out. Thank you to everybody who participated in the chat. What are you showing off? What's on your shirt?
No, the Dream shirt. Dreamception.
Thank you, everybody.
Dream's awesome, man.
Thank you to everybody who donated. Dreams is the best reason to own a PlayStation VR headset. God damn it, man. If you don't own Dreams, you're out of your goddamn mind. I don't know what else to tell you. Guys, we love you so much. Thank you so much for being here. I got to go to bed. Can we keep
I guess it's a good thing. I guess it's a good thing Dreams is not a beta early access game, isn't it, Brian? Cue the cat, because I want to say have a great Tuesday and rest of the night tonight. See you on Wednesday, guys. Tabrax Bro says, isn't that just Inception? Maybe, perhaps, I don't know. Sergeant Frosty, I hope this stream was your childhood.
It was his childhood.
And he says, someone make Twisted Metal VR in Dreams already. I almost did. True story. I could still potentially do it. Yeah. Justin Cassidy, have a great night. Guy Son, fist bump to you. Andrew Bailey, have a great night to you as well. Serial Killer, the Cinnamon Toast Crunch Game Cat. That's tasty. A new one, Brian.
He's so tasty.
I want some Cinnamon Toast Crunch because I got Marshmallow Mateys. It's like the store brand Lucky Charms. Oh my God, it's so bland and bad. What was I thinking?
Listen, Serial Killer. You just let them know in my lobby that I invited you over. The door's open for snuggling. I'm gonna lick you all up and down. You taste delicious.
Please go ahead and kill my Marshmallow Mateys, please. Chair Face, have a great night. Miles Dyer, Nihilus Ryan, the Game Feline, Mark Pringles Leaf, thank you so much, man. Slow news week, slow news day, I know, but we had a lot of fun and a lot of stuff to talk about. VR Grid, good to see you, my friend. Shades of Gray Matter. You should pick up Archangel. That's why I did that. Xpacer X says, I could have sworn it was Good Dog, Bad Dog. Some games just should never exist. Anikazi, thank you so much for hanging out. Blue Chew, the Underground Game Cat Elite Name Squad in the house tonight. All you are is history. That is like that sounds like a cool song name or lyric or something that I want to listen to.
I could even go for that being a band name. That's good. That's good.
Yeah. All you are is history. Yeah, sure. Maybe that would make more sense. I was just talking. I played Synth Riders this weekend on the thing, and there's a song. It's like half human, half machine. It's called like Empire of Steel or something. I don't know what it is, but it's amazing. I love it, man. Reminds me of that. Ben Dawson, Archangel. It is. Yes, you knew what was up. Pizza Boy 64. I wish that was on.
Also tasty.
64.
Also
Abe
tasty.
Lincoln. Already guessing Conrad's Kittens. Oh, Deep Cuts. I love it. Jason Ewing. Have a great night. Big Fat Frog. What up, man? Nick Coles. Kramer 3K. I see you too, guys. Have a wonderful night. Later. Gabriel.
Yeah.